Welcome to English 24. In today's lesson, we're going to have a look at commonly mispronounced countries and places. Before we start our today's lesson, I must remind you, these words are pronounced in different ways in different languages. In Malayalam, it is pronounced in one way, Tamil a different way, and of course in English, a different way. So what we are going to do here is we are going to look at the standard British English pronunciation of these words. Let's start with our own continent. It's pronounced in two ways. Asia with Z sound of pleasure, leisure and vision, or Asia with Sh sound of sharp, sheep and shock. So it's Asia, not Asia. Asia or Asia, but not Asia. For example, we are all Asians. Even Asian, it is pronounced Z or Sh, not Asian. So we are all Asians. India is an Asian country. Now let's see a few Asian countries, the pronunciation of a few Asian countries, and which are commonly mispronounced. Let's start with our closest neighbor, Bangladesh. As like many other English words, this word too is pronounced in two different ways. Bangladesh, as you've seen here, and Bangladesh. Bangladesh, it's all Bangladesh, not Bangladesh or Bangladesh. It's not pronounced that way. Usually we pronounce it like Bangladesh with a stretch in the second syllable, Bangla, but it's actually Bangladesh or Bangladesh. Let's move on and see another neighbor of us, Nepal. Nepal or Nepal. And that's the interesting part about English pronunciation. Many of these words actually, many of these words are pronounced in two or more different ways. So Nepal as well, Nepal or Nepal. Two different ways. This word too is pronounced in two different ways and not Nepal. And the difference in the way we pronounce it is actually, when we pronounce it, we use R sound in the second syllable. So we say like Nepal, but the correct pronunciation is Nepal or Nepal, not Pal, it's Paul. Next one in the list is another Asian country, Malaysia. And this one too is pronounced in two different ways, Malaysia or Malaysia. Malaysia or Malaysia, not Malaysia. Let's move on and see Indonesia. Indonesia or Indonesia. Again, two ways. We can't do much about it. And what you can do is, you don't really have to look at these two pronunciations, just master or practice one pronunciation, one correct pronunciation. Next one is Persia. And as like Asia, this one too is pronounced in two different ways, Persia or Persia. Now let's go to Europe. Yes, it's pronounced Europe, not Europe. And when we pronounce it, we usually pronounce Europe with O sound in the second syllable, but it's Europe, Europe. And people from Europe, Europeans. Europeans. And when you pronounce the Europeans, make sure that stress falls on the penultimate syllable. Penultimate means second last syllable. Now we will see a few European countries. First one, Belgium. Belgium. And it is very commonly mispronounced, and we pronounce it Belgium. But it's not Belgium, it's Belgium. Belgium. Very simple, so easy to correct. Belgium. And the only thing is that you have to jot it down somewhere and have a look at this 3 or 4 times, and you are going to get it right forever. You're going to get it right. And next one, Germany. It's not a difficult one, and it is not very commonly mispronounced. Most of us get it right, but some of us at least say Germany, but it's not Germany because the R is silent, because it is followed by a consonant sound after R. Next, after R there is a consonant, so it is Germany. Germany. Next one is another European country, Belarus, and this one, just like Belgium, is very commonly mispronounced. And whenever I see people pronouncing it, I see this Belarus pronunciation. They pronounce it like Belarus, but its actual or correct pronunciation is actually, correct means the standard British pronunciation is Belarus. Belarus, not Belarus. Now let's go to the most famous tourist destination of Europe. Switzerland. Switzerland. And the difference is simple again. We say Switzerland, the correct pronunciation, Switzerland. So Switzerland is one of the most famous tourist nations in Europe. Next one is Vatican. Vatican. It's pronounced Vatican. And I see a lot of people pronouncing it Vatican, and that's just the reason why I added this one to the list here. Vatican. Vatican, for example, Vatican City. Next one is a Eurasian country. By the way, what is Eurasia? Eurasia, Europe and Asia put together, you call it Eurasia. So the Eurasian country we are talking about, Russia. Russia. It's not Russia, Russia. And people from Russia, Russians. Now let's move to the southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere means the southern half of the earth. So here you have New Zealand. Just like Switzerland, it's not New Zealand, it's New Zealand. New Zealand. And says on the second syllable, New Zealand. So that's the end of today's lesson on commonly mispronounced countries and places. As I said in the very beginning of the lesson, this is the standard British English pronunciation of the words, and it's perfectly alright to pronounce them differently when you speak a different language. When you speak Malayalam, you don't have to say, for example, Nepal, or you don't have to say Belgium with a stress on the first syllable. No, you don't have to say Belgium. You can just keep saying Belgium, that's perfectly alright. But if you like to correct it and say Belgium, it's alright too, it's okay too. So whatever way you choose, go on with that. And before you go, I have a request. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do subscribe now and press that bell icon as well so that you will get notified every time we upload our videos. And we will have a lot of lessons on English pronunciation, accent and every other aspect of English language. So please subscribe now and press that bell icon. And if you like the video, please give a thumbs up and also please share it with your friends. With that, it's bye-bye from Libby's and English 24.